An Indigenous man and his granddaughter, who were handcuffed outside a Vancouver bank, have reached a settlement in their human rights case against police. The CBC's Sarah Galashan is in Vancouver with the details. So, Sarah, what's in this agreement?
Well, Andrew, as part of this human rights complaint settlement, Maxwell Johnson and his family are receiving an undisclosed amount of money from the Vancouver Police Department. As well, $100,000 is going to be paid to the Heiltsuk First Nation. That's Johnson's First Nation that he belongs to their restorative justice department. And the VPD is going to be creating as well a special role, a police officer in charge of anti-Indigenous racism, and that is to be created among other changes that will occur over the next 2 years. And this is all because of what happened December 2019. If you're unfamiliar with the details here, Maxwell Johnson and his young daughter had traveled from the northwest coast, Bella Bella, down to Vancouver. He wanted to open a bank account for her at the Bank of Montreal. He had received some money as part of a settlement from the government. He wanted to move it into an account for her, and they were using a number of pieces of ID, including government-issued status cards. The bank took issue with that, suspected fraud, and so called the VPD. And when the police officers arrived, Maxwell Johnson and his 12-year-old granddaughter were taken outside of the bank onto the busy downtown sidewalk and placed in handcuffs. And it was some time later that the police officers realized their mistakes. Maxwell Johnson at a press conference today said that he is pleased with this settlement, but he is still haunted by what happened 3 years ago. Here's what he told us.
One of the things I keep seeing is my granddaughter standing on that street crying while she's being handcuffed. I don't think any parent or grandparent should ever see that in their lifetime. She must have been about 20, 30 feet away from me, and all I could do was just stand there and not do nothing. I'll never ever get that image out of my head.
And so, Sarah, how is his granddaughter doing?
You know, Andrew, over the years, we've always been very careful not to show pictures of her, to blur them out, and not to name her, because she was 12 years old when this happened. She's 15 years old now, and she actually attended this press conference, was there for the signing of the agreement, and she actually took to the podium and she spoke, telling reporters what the last 3 years have been like for her, how she's dealt with this trauma, and her hopes for the future. And I want to play you a little of what she said.
What happened to me and my grandfather traumatized me. I'm still healing from that day. I want to tell everyone that Indigenous people experience discrimination, including children like me. From when we're kids, we understand that people treat us differently because of what we look like.
This deal will bring about change. She hopes she'll be able to move forward from this. There is still one more thing to come, and that's next month. There's going to be an apology ceremony held in Bella Bella. Members of the Vancouver Police Department will travel to Bella Bella at the Heiltsuk First Nation Big House for this apology ceremony. And Maxwell Johnson, who is an Indigenous artist, who actually, he says, has created a special painting for the Vancouver Police Department, he plans to present it to them at that time. Andrew?
Sarah, thank you. That's the CBC's Sarah Galashan in our Vancouver newsroom.